Alright, so we're doing a audio check. Just gotta make sure everything's good. My stream didn't appear to turn on yet. Oh, it did. Alright, so we're doing a audio check. Alright, so we're kind of in the last of this tutorial module. We're 41% done before we actually are uploading things and building things. So we're just gonna continue on with that. It says alright, so step 27. So we got some code here. Within each corresponding label element, and immediately after the input element, add a space and add the following text. So, let's see, within each corresponding label element, alright, so that would be here, and immediately after the input element, add a space. Oh, okay. So it's saying space, then personal account, then space, business account, and then they want it to be after the input element. So that would be right here. So then space, I accept the terms and conditions. Alright, so now we have something that kind of looks more like a form here. Let's see if we got it right. Alright, passes. Now step 28. You only want one radio input to be selectable at a time. However, the form does not know the radio inputs are related. You only want one radio input to be selected at a time. However, the form does not know the radio inputs are related. Yes, that's true. Because as you know, you can only select one radio button because that's kind of the nature of a radio button. So because of that, that's why we can select two at a time. So we're gonna make it so you can only select one, because it's kind of like with the checkbox. You kind of would imagine that you can. That kind of is for multiple options. Like let's say, you're ordering, some kind of meal, then you would decide all of the things you would want on it. But then a radio button is for exclusive options. To relate the radio buttons, give them the same name attribute with the value of account type. Alright, so then name account type, the name account type, so these should work. Alright, the code passes. So now we're at step 29. Follow accessibility best practices by linking the input elements and label elements in the second field set. Okay. So follow accessibility practices by linking the input elements and label elements with the second field set. Okay. So then I think all they want us to do is put an ID here. So the ID for this is going to be personal account. The ID for this is going to be business account. And the ID for this is going to be terms and conditions. So I believe that's what they want us to do. There's an error. First element, the first input element should have an ID. Okay, so we're making IDs for the labels. We're making IDs for the input elements, not the labels. Okay. So this would actually go here. And this would go here. And this would go here. And just get rid of this. Alright, so says oh, it didn't say to do that though, but alright, so it's gonna have the ID, it's gonna be personal account. Let's just see if we're on the right track at least. Alright, so then this should be for alright, so now the code passed. So basically, I think all they're saying is they're linking the input elements with the label elements, because it's like saying this input element is for, this label is for this input element, and this label's for that input element, and that label's for that input element. To finish this field set off, click the text. To finish the field set off, link the text, terms, and conditions, and the third label with the following location. So I think what it's saying is make that a link. So I can do that with the anchor tag. That's how it wants me to do it. Oh, okay. Okay. So, so they don't want it over the entire text. So what I did was I made this entire thing a link. So what they want is they want just terms and conditions to be a link. So I'm going to do something like this. And then put that before. And I think that's what it wants me to do. Alright, so it worked. Moving on the final field set, what if you wanted to allow a user to upload a profile picture? Moving on to the final field set, what if you wanted the user to upload a profile picture? Well, the input type file allows just that. Alright, so now we're getting into some interesting stuff, is where the input is going to be where you can upload a picture rather than something you would select or type in. So right here, we're going to make an input type. The type is going to be a file. Right there. And then it wants me to add a label with the text, upload a profile picture. I'm kind of confused, because I want to make sure, because it has, every time it has an input, it's nested within a label. So I'm wondering if I do that or I put it within this. Oh, okay, it does, yeah. So we'll just make the label for now. Then I think right here I'll say upload a profile picture. I'm actually new to this. I've never created something like this before, so I'm learning as well. Oh, it passes. The code passes. Alright, so that is what I do. So we created a file input without a label, then field set. Add another label with the first within the text. Input your age, years. Then nest an input with the type number. Set another label after the first. Probably gonna just actually copy and paste it. And if it went anything like it should, I think I should put the input here and make the type number. So then within this, gonna make a min attribute with 13. So I guess that's where if they type in 12, that won't work because they'll be under 13. So it's like an age restriction. Also, users will probably not be over the age of 120. I don't think there's a person alive that is. So they're going to set a max to 120. Now, if someone tries to submit values in the form outside of the range, a warning will appear. See if it works. I'll just start typing stuff. It's watching nvidiacap@gmail.com. Say I'm going to make a personal account. Let's say I'm 12. Oh, we'll say accept the terms of use, and I'm 12. So now right here it'll say that I need to be at least 13. And if I say I'm 121, it'll say that the value needs to be less than or equal to 120. Alright. So the code should work. Oh. So the code, yeah. So now we're on the next step, step 33. Add a drop down to the form is easy with the select element. Alright, so select element is a container for a group of option elements, and the option element acts as a label for each drop down option. Both elements require closing tags. Alright, start by adding a select element within below the two label elements. The next 5 option elements within the select element. Alright, so let's see. So they're not saying where to put it though. So right here. I think they want it right here. So this is going to create a drop down menu. So option 1, so option 2, option 3, option 4. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's what it wanted me to do. Alright. So it kind of looks like a mess like that, but probably want to clean it up a little bit. So I'm going to try to clean it up. That looks a little better. Step 34. Actually, I'm gonna log into the NVCap code on YouTube. Make a couple people mods. So nest the select element within its option elements within a label. Okay, so when it says nest, it means that it's going to go into another element. So label is outside of it. And the text is going to say how did you hear about us? And I think that's what it wanted us to do. Alright. So now we have no options, so the drop-down options are currently empty. To give them content, add the following text to each of the subsequent options. So basically these are just going to be the options. So this is going to be the first one. So the first one's just going to say select one. And this is going to be the first option, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So there is actually just one for select one. Now starting to form. Free CodeGamp YouTube channel. Alright, so now all the options are full, so now we have kind of more of a functional drop-down menu right there. Alright, it passes. Step 36. Let's actually see how far we're coming along. Before we were at like 40 something percent, so now we're at 55%. OLXX is in chat. Yeah, I kind of just saw it was like at one view, so I just didn't think there was anyone in there, so I wasn't really checking on chat. But yeah, I'll be looking at it more. So let's just continue. Spinning the form with an option selected would not send a useful value to the server. As such, each option needs to be given a value attribute, without which the text content of the option will be submitted to the server. So basically, what they're saying is, what we're actually going to do is we're going to make it so that, you know, it's okay. So it's kind of like, remember back to forms where it's about names and value pairs, right? So if I call like this value is going to be just nothing because it's just select one. And you know, this one's going to be 1, and what that means is when it knows it's 1, to this question, then that's going to tell the server that you selected that option when you click on it. So that's how we'll know. So just like the text is whatever you type in, whatever you type in and then hit submit, that value is going to be associated with that question. So then, according to the server, they will be able to read that. So now it says value 3, value 4, see if it passes, and it passes. Text area element acts like an input element of type text, but comes with the added benefit of being able to receive multi-line text within an initial number of text in rows and columns. Users will be able to register with a bio, add a label with the text, provide a bio at the end of the field set, add a text area element inside the label element. Note that the text area requires a closing tag. Alright. So text area is where you would type more in, kind of like a post. So where did they want that? I think they wanted that, I would imagine they would want that outside here. Text area. Alright, so it's going to be inside another label element. And the text is going to be provide a bio, so it's going to look like that. Is that right? Let's see. Okay, the code passes. It kind of looks a little weird though. That's why I was kind of doubting it. Link the applicable form elements and their label elements together. Alright, so... Okay, so for this profile picture, here's gonna have the ID, profile picture, and 4 profile picture. And this is going to be for age. And the input ID is going to be age. This label is going to be for refer. So let's copy this down so I don't probably have misspelling. And I think I would put the ID here. And that's going to be bio. Oh no. Never mind. I mean, the ID is going to be refer. But I think I put that right here. Alright. That's going to be for bio. And then the ID for this is going to be bio. Alright, the code passes. That was what it wanted us to do. Step 39. The text area appears too small. To give it an initial size, you can add the rows and calls attribute. Okay, so we're going to kind of properly arrange this so it doesn't look awkward. So, how to make attributes, right? It's rows 3, and then it's going to be calls 30. And then that should be, I think, what it wanted us to do. Oh, it's rows, not row. Yep, there we go. Give campers an idea of what to put on their bio. The placeholder attribute is used. The placeholder accepts a text value, which is displayed until the user starts typing. Give the text area a placeholder of I like coding on the beach. Alright. So it's gonna kind of see that before someone types something in. So, let's just copy this, and I believe that's what I wanted us to do. Alright, so there you go. So it kind of looks like it's kind of giving you a preview of an idea of what you should type in. So that's kind of the purpose of it. I've actually never used a placeholder before, but that's what it's accomplishing. Step 41. form submissions, it is useful and good practice to provide each submittable element with a name attribute. This attribute is used to identify the element in the form submission. Give each submittable element a unique name attribute of your choosing, except for the 2 radio inputs. Alright, so we'll see. Within the form submissions, it is useful and good practice to provide a submittable element within the name attribute. Okay, so we're just going to add a name attribute. So if I'm correct, well, they already have name attributes, though. Hold on. Oh. So, okay, so the other ones... Okay, so there is one for the radio button, and there is one for... Yeah, there already are name attributes, so I'm not sure I understand. Like, there's a name attribute for them already. Are there any where there isn't? I mean... Let me reread this. Within the form elements, it's useful and good practice to provide each submittable element with a name attribute. This attribute is good to identify. Alright, I get that. Give each submittable element a unique name attribute of your choosing. Okay. So I guess each one that doesn't have it already, because yeah, this one has one. This one has one. And this one has one. So I'll just check the next field set. Okay, so this one does not have one. So I'll make that profile picture. Make this one age. And I'll make this one bio. That should be what it wanted us to do. Alright, so that's what it wanted us to do. Yeah, it kind of just threw me up in the beginning because it was telling me to add name attributes, but many of them already did have name attributes. Because it says give each submittable element a unique name attribute, but most of them already had one. I don't know. But the code did pass. You know, because, you know, so it's all about name and value pairs. I think they kind of should have just said, fill in the ones that don't have one already. But, so it's all about name and value, so then once it can connect whatever you put in for the value, it'll pair that up with the name, and then you'll see that in the server, and then you'll know what the user selected. I had a website where I would try it out, and I would type in my information, and what you get back is it would actually send an email to me, because I put an email function to it and a text function to it. So every time if someone were to ever submit something in the forum, I would get an email and a text on my phone. So yeah, I'll just continue on. So 142, the HTML for the registration form is finished. Now you can spruce it up a bit. Start by changing the font to Tahoma. I think that's how it's pronounced. And the font size to 16 pixels. In the body, alright. So I think it's font family, isn't it? I don't think it's just font. I think it's playing a trick on me, I don't know. Or if it's font, I'll correct it, but I'm gonna try it out. Alright, it passed. Actually, let me see if it would work if I just typed in font. I don't know. Oh. I guess not. Center the H1 and P elements by giving them a margin of... Alright, so we're going to make H1 and P selectors. So this should apply to H1 elements and P elements. And we're going to make the margin 1em and autos for center. And is there a text align attribute? Not sure if there is. Alright, there is. Yeah. So that worked. Center the form element by giving it a margin of center the form element. Alright, so let's make a form selector by giving it the margin of 0 and auto. And trying to remember what it was for maximum width. I think it's width max. If I forget, I can always look it up, but I'm gonna go with that. Okay, just give me a squiggly line, I don't know what that means. And a minimum width of 300 pixels. Between that range, allowed to have a width of 60 VW. Yeah, I'm actually not sure on this one. Let's see. Okay, so it's actually max width. And presumably it's max min width. And then it's just saying make the width as 60 viewable windows, viewable window units. Okay, so that works. Alright, let's see how far we are so far. I think we did about 20 tutorials. So, we're at like... Yeah, so now we're almost 70% done. So now to finish, we just have to go to 63. I think what I'm going to do is we're probably going to stop at around 50, and then I'm just going to do a final one where we just finish it all off, finish this entire module, and then, you know, it's going to be a combination of just review, building things with it, just reinforcing the concepts, and that'll be from there. So let's do 5 more. During development, it is useful to see field set default borders. However, they make the content appear too separated. Okay. Remove the border and add 2 REM padding only to the top and bottom of each field set. Be sure to remove the padding from the left and right. Okay. So I think it's going to be a field set selector. It says remove the border, and I honestly genuinely forget how to do that. But I'm going to add, for the padding, I think it's top padding or padding top. We'll find out. To rem. Alright, so I think it's padding top. I think when it's squiggle lines, that's a indication that it's the wrong one. So top. So, and then remove the padding from the left and the right. So I think that would just be 0. But going on a limb, another limb here, I think if I'm correct, I can actually just do this all in one line of code and just do 2 REM. And then the next on the clockwise would be right, so that would be 0. And then it would be bottom, which is 2 REM. And then left, 0. I'm going to go on a huge limb and guess that that's the right thing to do. And when they say remove the border, I think I'm just going to just make that 0. And that'll remove the border. Let's see. So we should add padding of 2 REM to the top and bottom of each field set. Let's just go back to the long form. I think we did remove the border though. So say 2 REM and padding bottom would be 2 REM. Okay. And then padding left is going to be 0. Padding right is going to also be 0. Alright, so it passes. Alright, so we remove the border by just literally setting it to 0 and using a field set selector. And I guess we weren't supposed to really use the shorthand notation. Because I think I tried it. I think that's the right way where it goes clockwise. It would go top, right, bottom left, but for some reason it didn't work. But yeah, it wanted to remove the padding from the left and right, so I made it 0. And it wanted it to be 2 REM for the top and bottom, so I made it 2 REM, so it worked. I mean, alright, it was a little bit of a struggle, but it worked. To give the field set elements a bit of separation, select them and give them a border bottom of, okay. So border bottom of 3 pixels, that's solid. This is hexadecimal. So 3B, 3B, 4F. So it's going to be 3B of red, 3B of green, and 4F of blue. So all those are all these two, remember, represent a number between 0 and 255. Because it's almost exactly like the RGB function, only it's just another number format. Alright, it passed. '47, the border of the last field set element looks a little out of place. You can select the last element of a specific type using the last of type CSS pseudo class like this. Okay. The border of the last field set element looks a little out of place. Alright, so I think they're referring to this. Oh, okay, so now it's saying, so this is kind of a new concept as well. So basically, what this is saying is, this will target the last paragraph. So this won't apply to, this won't just be an ordinary paragraph selector. It'll only operate on the last one. So let's so if we want something to affect the last field set, we're going to make a pseudo class of last of type. Last of type. And is that right? I think it's right. And then border bottom is going to be set to none. So if it's correct, it'll get rid of the last border of the last field set. Alright, so that passed. Just gonna do 2 more and then we're gonna end it off for today, and then yeah, see where we are. It would be nicer to have the label text appear above the form elements. So I think they want this above this rather than to the left of it. So I think that's what they're going to change. Select all. Alright, so we're now operating a selector. A selector for all input elements, all text area elements, and for select elements. And what are we going to do? Take up the full width. Make them take up the full width of their parent elements. Okay, so whenever I think of, so if I remember correctly, that would be expressed by percentage. Because when you use a percentage, that is relative to the parent element, which means the element that it's in. So the input element that's in another element, and the text area and the select, they're all in either a field set element or something before it. Oh, but we didn't apply it yet. So we got that right. So now make the margin add 10 pixels of the margin to the top of the selected elements. Okay, so I think that's just top margin. Is that margin top? And that would be 10 pixels. And then everything else. I'm forgetting if there's a shorter hand way of doing it, but I'll just make it all 0. Oh. Then margin right 0. Alright, so that's what we're supposed to do. So now I think we only have just one more. For the second field set, you want the input and label text to appear in the same line. Input and label text to appear in the same line. Yeah, I removed the commas. So the second field set, you want... I wonder if there is a pseudo element for the second of type. Gotta brush up on pseudo classes. For the element field set, for the second element field set, you want the input and label text to appear in the same line. Start by giving the input elements in the second field set a class inline. Okay. So I think for now we're just going to write the class for it. Actually, I think we should actually end off here, because kind of how these tutorials work is basically they're gonna have us plug in a class that is going to apply to those elements, and then we make them. So I kind of don't want to separate that lesson. So I'm going to end it on 49. So with that said, we're at 48, and then we need 63 to be done with this module. And that makes us 76% done. So then I think reasonably, I think before we were at like 26. So we're doing about 20 at least per tutorial, so I think we could easily finish it up next time. So I don't know when that'll be, but it'll either be today or tomorrow. So yeah, gonna end it.